All right, let's dive in. We're tackling a song today that kind of broke out of that typical Eurovision mold.
Oh, yeah?
Bilal Hassani's Roy from back in 2019. And we've got articles and analyses all ready to go deeper than just like the surface level.
Deeper.
We'll unpack the lyrics, we'll look at the performance itself, and we'll even get into how the world reacted. You ready for some serious self-acceptance vibes?
Always.
Because Roy is all about embracing who you are.
Love it.
Okay, so right off the bat, Roy hits you with these themes of self-acceptance,
Mhm.
overcoming hate, and taking control of your own, your own story, your own narrative.
Right.
And there's this one line that really jumps out. It's Je suis moi, je sais que je suis roi,
Okay.
which means in English, I am me, I know that I am king.
Powerful.
It's simple, it's direct, and honestly, it's powerful even if you don't speak French.
I agree. Yeah.
So what makes these themes so impactful, especially, on a stage like Eurovision?
Well, I mean, you have to remember that Eurovision, it's not just a song contest. It's this huge cultural phenomenon.
It is, yeah.
With this massive audience and this kind of history of political undertones, right? So Bilal being non-binary and part of the LGBTQ plus community, that was making a statement just by being there before even singing a single note.
True.
And then you add in the song's message, which is all about authenticity.
Right.
Being true to yourself. And that's even more powerful in a setting like Eurovision, which is, let's be honest, it's often about these extravagant performances and trying to, kind of outshine everyone else. And Roy just cuts through all of that.
Yeah.
And it just says being true to yourself is what matters.
Yeah, and even the performance itself was really interesting.
Yeah, how
Because compared to the typical Eurovision like spectacle, Roy almost had this like minimalist feel.
So interesting.
Bilal was practically motionless on stage, wearing this incredible golden outfit that had like both masculine and feminine elements.
I see.
And then there was this single backup dancer who almost seemed to represent like the struggles Bilal had to overcome.
Oh, wow.
So was that minimalist approach intentional, and how did it contribute to the song's impact?
I think it was very intentional, and it actually amplifies the song's message. Because it's like stripping away all the distractions and forcing the audience to really confront the raw emotion.
It's true, yeah.
So you've got the mirrors on stage.
Yeah.
And they reflect the theme of self-acceptance.
Right.
While the dancer kind of symbolizes past limitations that Bilal has broken free from. And, we have to remember that Bilal's long hair and that androgynous look, that was already causing controversy before Eurovision.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So this performance was absolutely deliberate. It was a powerful visual statement. That went along with the music.
Yeah.
And by keeping the focus so much on Bilal and their message, the emotion, the impact, I think it's even stronger.
You're totally right. You're totally right. It's not just about like the flashy stuff. It's
Yeah.
about, like you said, that deeper, more personal message.
Right.
So can you imagine being in that audience,
Oh, wow.
seeing this all unfold?
I mean,
What kind of emotions do you think that would evoke?
yeah, that's a powerful image.
Because Roy sparked some seriously strong reactions.
Okay.
Some people absolutely loved it, while others, well, not so much.
Of course, yeah.
So what were some of the different responses?
Well, Roy, it resonated with a lot of people, but it definitely generated some backlash, too.
Yeah.
Particularly from, more conservative groups.
Right.
Some of the criticism focused on the song's simplicity,
Interesting.
completely missing the deeper
It
message.
isn't the point.
Yeah, exactly. And then on the other hand, you had, LGBTQ plus media outlets like Wavy Blogs and ESC United. They praised Bilal's courage and the importance of representation, for marginalized communities.
Yeah. It really makes you think about how music can be so much more than just entertainment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. It can be a platform for these really important conversations and even social change.
It's true.
So while Bilal didn't win Eurovision, Roy sparked a dialogue that, it went way beyond the music itself. It became a symbol of visibility, representation, and challenging norms on this huge global stage.
For sure. So even though Roy was just one song in this big competition,
Yeah.
it had this much bigger impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about like winning or losing.
Right.
It was about making a statement. and starting a conversation.
I think that's a great place to stop for now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We've unpacked the message, the performance, and the initial reactions.
We have.
But there's so much more to explore.
Oh, yeah. Lots more.
So stay tuned for part 2. We'll delve even deeper into the meaning and impact of this incredibly powerful song.
We've talked about how Roy challenges those norms. It really promotes that self-acceptance. But I want to like dig into the lyrics a bit more.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because they're pretty direct, straightforward, even for those who don't speak French.
For sure.
So what is it about those lyrics that makes them so effective?
I think it's the simplicity and the honesty in the lyrics. Like there's no hiding behind metaphors or, complex wordplay. It's raw, unfiltered declaration of self.
Yeah.
And lines like je suis fort, je suis invincible, which means I am strong, I am invincible. They almost act like affirmations.
Totally.
Empowering not only Bilal, but anyone listening.
Yeah.
Who identifies with that experience of being different and facing criticism.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that directness, that almost like defiant tone is part of what resonated with so many people?
Oh, absolutely.
Particularly those who felt marginalized.
Yeah.
Or misunderstood.
Absolutely. And the use of the word Roy, which means king, it's brilliant.
It is, yeah.
It's not about, traditional royalty. It's about claiming ownership over your own life, your own identity.
Right.
It's saying, I define myself and no one can take that away from me.
Yeah, it's so interesting how that one word Roy, it becomes so much more than just a title.
It does.
It's a symbol of empowerment,
of
agency, in a world that often tries to like dictate who we should be.
For sure.
Now, Roy clearly sparked a lot of those positive conversations we've been talking about, but it also faced like some pretty intense backlash.
It did, yeah.
So can you tell us a bit more about that? What happened?
So, while Roy resonated with a lot of people, it also triggered some negativity.
Right.
Particularly, again, from those conservative groups.
Right.
And some people, they criticized Bilal's appearance, specifically like targeting their long hair and androgynous clothing. Yep. It was almost like they were trying to police their gender expression.
That's awful.
Yeah. And there were even like hateful comments, threats even directed at them online.
It's really disheartening.
Yeah.
Because it reveals how deeply entrenched some of these societal norms can be.
They are.
And how threatening it can be for someone to just, to be themselves, especially on a public platform like Eurovision.
Right.
What do you think Bilal's experience says about the price of visibility for marginalized communities?
I think Bilal's response to the backlash is really significant because they didn't back down. They didn't apologize for who they are.
Right.
Instead, they continued to use their platform to speak out against hate and discrimination.
It's powerful.
Yeah. And this is where like the impact extends beyond just the music. And it becomes about social change and inspiring others to embrace their own individuality.
Totally. And it's a reminder that progress isn't always easy.
It's not. No.
And visibility can come with a price. But by staying true to themselves, I mean, Bilal really demonstrated that the price is worth paying.
I think so, yeah.
So do you think Roy is part of a larger cultural shift towards more acceptance and challenging those traditional gender norms?
Absolutely. I think Roy is part of this much broader movement that's pushing for greater representation and inclusivity, not just in music, but in all aspects of society.
Right.
And we're seeing this in the rise of, non-binary and gender fluid identities and the increasing visibility of LGBTQ plus artists and stories in mainstream media. It's a complex process.
Yeah.
Often messy.
It is.
But Roy exemplifies how art can really accelerate that progress.
Yeah, and it's not just limited to like, LGBTQ plus issues.
Right.
The message of Roy, it speaks to anyone who's ever felt like an outsider or has been told, they don't fit in.
Exactly.
It's a universal message about embracing those unique qualities and finding the courage to be authentically you.
Exactly. It's about taking control of your own narrative.
Right.
Being the Roy, the king or queen of your own life.
It's like Bilal was saying to the world, this is me, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And that's such a powerful message, regardless of your background.
Yeah.
Your identity.
For sure.
Speaking of like powerful messages, Roy also sparked a lot of conversations about the role of art and artists in society.
It did.
So should artists use their platform for for something bigger than themselves.
Hmm.
Is it their responsibility to advocate for social change, or is it more about personal expression?
That's a complex question.
Yeah.
There aren't any easy answers. There's
Okay.
there's this constant tension between personal expression
Mm-hmm.
and social responsibility in art.
Right. Yeah.
Art has, historically been this powerful tool for social commentary,
Mm.
challenging the status quo,
Mm-hmm.
and amplifying marginalized voices. And in a world where visibility can be so crucial for underrepresented communities,
Mm-hmm.
artists with a platform, I mean, they have this unique opportunity to make a difference.
But isn't there also a risk, like demanding that artists always serve a specific like social purpose? Couldn't that stifle creativity and limit artistic freedom?
Oh, for
So
sure.
how do you navigate that balance?
It is. It's a delicate balancing act.
Mm.
On the one hand, artists, they have this right to express themselves freely,
Mm-hmm.
exploring their own experiences and their perspectives through their art,
Right.
and demanding that every piece of art serves some specific, social purpose
Yeah.
that could really limit creative exploration
Yeah.
and potentially censor important voices.
Yeah, you're right.
But on the other hand, art has always had this power to influence society,
Hmm.
to challenge norms, and to inspire change. And artists, especially those with large platforms, they have this unique opportunity to amplify marginalized
What we
voices
do.
and to contribute to these important conversations.
So where do you draw the line? Is there a right way for artists to approach their platform and that potential impact of their work?
Honestly, I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all answer. It really depends on the individual artist, their message, and the specific context. What matters most is that we're having these conversations.
Yeah.
Recognizing the power of art to shape perspectives and potentially spark change. Artists have the right to choose how they want to use their platform and what messages they want to share with the world.
It's true. Thinking back to Roy, it's fascinating how a 3-minute Eurovision entry can ignite these like deep discussions about self-acceptance, representation, the role of art in society. What stands out to you as the most significant aspect of Roy's legacy?
It strikes me. It's how Roy transcended that typical Eurovision bubble. And it just became this cultural touchstone.
It did, yeah.
It initiated dialogues, challenged those conventional norms, and most importantly, it gave a voice to those who often feel unheard. Whether you loved it or hated it, Roy was impossible to ignore.
It's true. It's a reminder that music can be so much more than just entertainment.
Absolutely.
It can be a catalyst for change, a platform for important conversations, and a reflection of who we are and who we aspire to be. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Roy, we want to hear from you. Take some time to experience the song and the performance for yourself. What resonates with you? What does it mean to you to be the Roy of your own life? Share your thoughts. We'd love to hear your perspectives.